It's the Wait a Minute Show.
Bruh. Ain't that right, Lil Pan? Wait a minute. Book it. Really? Really?
The Wait a Minute Show with your host, Jolani J.B. Bodie.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, it is your man, Jolani J.B. Bodie, host of this thing called The Wait a Minute Show, and I'm back in the building to give you your sports fix here on the weekend, Saturday, what is it, February 5th, something like that, but early February, and we are here to talk sports. So, show is entitled Flores and the NFL, so we're going to get into the Brian Flores story a little bit more. We're going to talk about Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk about Brooklyn Nets. We'll talk about other stuff, as it goes on. And when I say we, it is not just me on this thing. It is he, it is him. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up over there in the corner, hiding as usual, because for some reason, he likes to play the background but be in the front. It is none other than Lil Pan.
Indeed.
So, thank you for joining us, Lil Pan. So, Lil Pan is in the building. And boy. So, before I move on, last week we had episode 200. I just want to thank everybody. I appreciate all the love. Once again, 200 shows that's in the book. And now we are on 201. And we are headed to 300. So, we can do another special on there. Indeed as well. Now, the great thing about being able to do episode 201 means that I did not pay the ultimate price for my Big L award from last week, which was Monet Tejada from the show Power for telling her kid he was 19 when that joker really is 23. So I did not know how that was gonna go, ladies and gentlemen. So I had to lay low. Lil Pan, he went to some safe house he talking about that he got.
Indeed.
Still haven't figured out where you came up with the money for that. But the good thing is we looked around, and everything was A-okay. And the coast was clear, so we got out there and got back to the mix. So now that we got that out the way, let's get into what we're here to talk about, and that is sports. Brian Flores. So we talked about this a little bit on X Squad Radio Network on Wednesday, so we're going to get into it a little bit more here. Brian Flores is suing the NFL, suing the New York Giants. He's suing football franchises and also the NFL. He is alleging that mistreatment of practices that they have when it comes to black coaches, sham interviews, being told to lose games. He would get paid to lose games. And so we're a week into that now. And everybody is speaking up. All the, the teams that have been implicated in this have been saying, hey, this is all false. I don't know where he's getting this information from, just to sum it up. You have had people that come out to try and support Terrell Austin's agent, who was a former defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, has said that there were some sham interviews by the Detroit Lions. You had Hugh Jackson, who came out initially was talking about being paid to lose games, but he went back on it a little bit, saying, they didn't just come out and just give him money. But I guess what he was getting at is that they were not looking at, winning. They didn't want him winning too many games. One of the McCourty twins, I want to say it was Jason McCourty. They look exactly alike. So if I got the wrong McCourty, I apologize. But he was on that team with Hugh Jackson playing for the Cleveland Browns when they went 0-16, and he has talked about that the team really wasn't trying to win games, and it was obvious. So a lot of, fugazi stuff basically is what's going on. And I said this on X Squad Radio Network on Wednesday when I was talking about this, and I'm going to say it again. What Brian Flores is talking about and what he's trying to get at, I guess here's the thing as far as like why we need to be paying attention, why we need to hear, why we need to ask the questions, and why we need to see, some of the results. Because yes, there are, coach hirings where you're looking at, why is it taking so long for Leslie Frazier to get another gig when you have other coaches that get fired from a job and then they're rolling right back into another job, someone like Adam Gase. Why is Jim Caldwell? I still don't understand why Jim Caldwell is not with a job after my Lions for whatever reason. I still don't understand this, why they let him go. And all we've done is went backwards, since then. Why aren't these coaches, getting second opportunities? Why aren't, new coaches getting, opportunities, general managers? So this is what he's getting at. And the reason I say that, we need to really pay attention to this. We really need to start asking some questions and start, demanding some answers that is not just hey, we recognize this or we recognize that. No, we need some results. We need to see some action. The reason why I say that, with this particular case with Brian Flores is that this is somebody who was just interviewing for other jobs. He had just left Miami. That situation, didn't turn out the way, obviously, he wanted it to turn out. It didn't end the way people thought it should have. It was the surprise firing of the league. So he's going into another situation, at least where he's interviewing for other positions, other head coaching vacancies. So it begs the question, if he's lying, if he's stretching the truth, if he's, if it's not the truth that he's speaking, why would he do something like this at this point? Because it looks like he was going to have a possibility. I think he interviewed with the Texans. I want to say he was going to, if he didn't interview with the Bears. You're getting these interviews. Why jeopardize that? And he spoke out about it and said that, hey, something that has to be said. Looks like he's going to, sacrifice his career, which I believe that very well could be the case, because it's on the table right now, unless we get, some other evidence that's out there that can prove his case. And we're still early into this process. But I just think like we have to think to ourselves, we have to ask those questions, as far as why would someone do that. We're not talking about someone that's been out of the league for 2-3 years and now they want to come up and start talking about it. This is someone that was up for a possible another head coaching job. So he put his career, he literally has put his career on the line right now. So to me that points out we need to start really demanding some answers, some real concrete, evidence out there. And we all know the NFL, a lot of jobs out there are like this anyway, is that relationship based, but why aren't these, African-American, coaches or OCs or, people that want to get into general management, positions or go up to, vice president and everything? Why aren't those positions being filled by African Americans, or more African Americans, I should say? And when I say demand an answer, what is it? You're pointing out yeah, this is something that we need to look at, but what is it? What really is it? Why are you telling us that you don't get enough people that you can interview? Are you telling us there are not enough people qualified? What is it that is making you not make that choice? What is it because there's a lot of people that's out there that you can look at and interview. And I'm like, we're talking about that, but also, we can get into, hiring of females as well. There's a lot of people that could, fill in those roles. So what is it? What is it actually? Is it a trust issue? Is it, again, the relationship? Is it more who you know? How do you get, yourself in front of these people? If maybe someone's blocking the attempt, but just saying, hey, we're going to look at it. I don't think that's going to be enough anymore for people, especially how everything is turning out, right now, where it looks like Mike Tomlin will be the only African-American coach at this point. There's still, you still have, it looks like the Vikings got their person after the Super Bowl, but it looks like you still got the Saints. You still have the Texans, and I'm missing one other team that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. That position hasn't been filled yet, so there still could be. But it's like, why? Now is the time to give a little bit more of a definitive answer than just saying, you know what, I agree. And it's just like, yeah, you can agree, but what changes are going to be made? What, are you scared to put your confidence in someone? And look, I'm realistic. I don't think anybody's going to really just go out there and say that and just be like, hey, I'm scared to put my confidence in, someone other that don't look like me. They're not going to say that, but at least we got to get some type of answers or some type of, and start holding people a little bit more accountable on it. And that may come from, the general public, but I just think there's something there if Brian Flores is going to put his career on the line like he is right now, because there's only 32 jobs. There were only 10 or 9 after this season. So it's not like this is an annual, career fair that they're going to have every year where all 32 jobs are going to be open. So to put that aside, to jeopardize that and to jeopardize your career, I just think it's more to it than, just what teams are saying is basically dismissing, what he's saying and saying that it's something, maybe something else, with it. So this thing is not over with Brian Flores. I think this thing is going to carry well over into the offseason, into free agency. I think we'll be probably talking about this going into training camp here and there, because it won't always be the main story. But I think this will be a telling moment. And I said this on Wednesday's show with X Squad, is that it's going to take some type of evidence or something that really peels back the layers to this thing, that really opens up this box and give people, a big, I guess you could say a clear look at it. I don't think it's any clearer what he's saying, but I think it's going to take something, like that. And I think they feel like they have that. And it's going to take, other people, in those positions. Somebody that don't look like Brian Flores. That will, probably be needed as well for that to be pointed out. But it's ongoing. Let's just say that. And speaking of ongoing, we're going to move on to our next topic. Still staying in the NFL, but NFL. So tanking, right? We were talking about that with the Brian Flores, where it was encouraging tanking. Then the Browns, was allegations to them tanking. We've seen it in the NBA where teams tank. And this happened in the NFL, near the end of the season. You start, playing guys you normally wouldn't play. But the NFL is saying they're going to looking to bolster inclusion policies and probe tanking allegations. How far are you really going to, probe this thing? Because if you think that a team or a franchise has played every game, every season to win, you are fooling yourself. And if you believe that, then you believe Lopan is a millionaire.
Indeed.
You're not Lopan, okay? So how far are you really going to be going? What's the parameters? What's going to be the red flags? What's going to be the penalty? If you do, how do you prove it? But it's something that has gone on in sports forever. You get near to the end of this, especially for football, because it's not 82 games or 162 games like you have in baseball and basketball and hockey. I think hockey is about 100 games or something like that. It's not like a multitude of games where you can kind of hide some of those games in there and be like, well, you know what? We just, we went on a bad streak, or we went this happened. Football, it's only 17 games. And obviously at the beginning of the year, everyone's trying to establish themselves. Everyone is trying to make sure that they're keeping their job, but do I believe that they're really going to go in depth about it? No, because there's teams that no one wants to have to deal with that owner or whatever. Or there's teams, if it's brought up, about one team, then another team has to be worried about either the same thing, or maybe it's just like, oh, you said something about me, I got this on you. Then it's, the finger pointing game, finger pointing blame between franchises. So, touch the top of it, maybe look around it, see what's going on and everything. But I'm not really expecting them just to do a deep dive, into this thing and say, you know what, this team is tanking. This team is, doing something wrong. And given what we were just talking about, they got bigger situations, that they're going to probably be dealing with and putting their interest. But it's throwing it out there and just say, hey guys, we know. Yeah, we see it. We'll get to it eventually, somewhere around there. So, but don't hold your breath is basically what I'm saying. Don't hold your breath and expect that they're just going to really come out and say, you team such and such, was tanking, and now you're going to pay for it, or now you're going to have to explain yourself. So it won't be in that depth. They're not going to be kicking in no doors or anything like that. Let's move on. I think we're going to move on to it's kind of important, depending on how you look at it. Next week is the Super Bowl. Yeah, kind of important game. And two teams are going to come in. One team is going to walk out victorious. One team is going to, both teams haven't been in the Super Bowl for a while, but one team is going to walk out of there with a ring. Bengals could walk out of there with their first championship. Rams could walk out of there with what was the last? Kurt Warner was there when they were in St. Louis. That was, 15, 16, 17, 18, maybe almost 20 years ago since that has happened. So one of these teams is going to walk out of here, victorious. And I haven't made my pick yet. It will be coming next week. I have why I'm picking whoever it is, but I think we're going to get a better matchup than a lot of people expected. When I mean than expected is when the playoffs started. If someone told you now, I think with the LA Rams, people would have been like, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a few Rams fans out there and a few people that believes in the Rams and, what they did. They pushed in all their chips and, so far, well, everything they did was for this moment right here, coming up in a little bit over a week. So I don't think that's a doubt. I think that, but adding the Bengals into it, people probably would be like, whoa, hold on. What are you talking about? You got Buffalo. You got Tennessee. You got Kansas City. Well, Cincinnati took care of two of them teams, on there. And I don't think this matchup will disappoint. I do believe we'll probably have some nervous energy going on in the first quarter, and things will pick up, in the second, for this. But my questions, right now for the Rams is, can they continue to keep Matthew Stafford being Matthew Stafford of now versus Matthew Stafford of old? And what I mean by that is that if they cannot keep Matthew Stafford from putting it all on himself, they don't want to get in a situation where it's all on Matthew Stafford, because that's where those bad interceptions or those chance interceptions that's thrown up, because he's had some of them, this year anyway. They went 12-5, so that's still, great, but it was a lot more prevalent when you got in a situation where you're behind, or when you got in a situation where you're working against the clock, and Matthew Stafford would make some of those mistakes. Hasn't been as bad this year. So that's going to be, something that I'm going to be looking at is how well of a start does Matthew Stafford get off? How well is he going to continue? Because he got off to a great start with the who was that they were playing? Was it the Bucks? I want to say it was the Bucks. They got off to a really good start, with the Bucks, and then things start slowing down. So how will Matthew Stafford start off? Make sure he doesn't get into a situation where it's always just passing. On the Bengals side, will the offensive line be able to protect Joe Burrow? Because that last game against the Kansas City Chiefs, Burrow was Houdini out there, and some of the grabs that he got away from, because it was at least three situations where the Kansas City Chiefs defense, it seems like they had him dead to rights, and he got out of the grasp and was able to either continue to drive by picking up a first down or just picking up yardage, or he was able to get rid of the ball just to live another day so they didn't take a sack. So we all know Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Gaines, all those guys, Leonard Floyd, they are going to be coming for Joe Burrow. So can the Cincinnati Bengals devise a game plan where they're going to keep Joe Burrow upright, but also not have him running for his life? Because it's going to be a little bit different, running for your life out there with the guys that I just mentioned versus some of the other teams that they play. So that's just, it in a nutshell. You got, Zach Taylor in his first Super Bowl. How is that going to play out? We've seen where coaches, they go to their first Super Bowl, and unfortunately they find out the mistakes that they made while they were doing it, where they would have did stuff, things different. Sean McVay, he's going back once again. So this is going to be his second opportunity, again, to make up for, things that he might have made mistakes for in the first time that he went to the Super Bowl, which was last time was here against the Patriots here in Atlanta. So Jalen Ramsey, Odell Beckham, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Dixon, Joe Mixon. I said Dixon. Joe Mixon, Cam Akers, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson. I think there's going to be a lot of key plays that's going to be made in this game by a lot of people, everyone. So I don't look for it to be a situation where someone has a career game where it's just going to be I ran for 200 yards or anything like that. I just think it's going to be nice plays all across the board, and it's going to be a little back and forth, with it. But both teams have something that they bring to the table that would be a reason why they would win the game. So it's going to be magnificent. And Lions fans, I know because I'm one of them. I already know who Lion fans are picking and rooting for. If the Rams do win, it's going to be sad for us a little bit. We're going to be happy for Stafford, but it's going to be sad for us because I think just a piece of us is going to feel like we won a championship too. And that's not the way we want to win it, but we got to take what we can get. Okay? And speaking of what we can get a break. And when we come back from the break, we get into some basketball news. James Harden, man, I guess he got some stuff on his chest that I guess he wanted to get off of it, according to the report. So we'll talk about that and other things that's going on in the NBA in just a moment. It's the Wait a Minute Show. We'll be back after these words.
Do you want your next Atlanta event to be memorable? If so, have Drinking Color at your next function. Drinking Color is sophisticated bartending that creates signature cocktails for your special occasion. Wow your family, friends, and business associates next time with Drinking Color. You can contact the owner, Kiki Lewis, at 678-813-7102. That's 678-813-7102. You can also email her at drinkincolor@gmail.com and follow on Instagram at drinkincolor. And tell her you were referred by the Wait a Minute Show. Drinking Color, cocktail catering. Let the cocktail sparkle at your next event.
Do you like making an impression? Who doesn't? Well, when you want to dress to impress for less, check out Rail Scott at Prime Ties to Go on Facebook and Instagram. Quality accessories for men and women at low, count it low prices. Everything from ties, bow ties, watches, bracelet, earrings to pocketbooks. Don't miss out. Check out Rail Scott the owner at Prime Ties to Go. That's Prime Ties, the number 2, Go on Facebook and Instagram.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and you are listening to
It's the Wait a Minute Show.
here on the waitaminuteshow.com. So let's get back into this talk. I was saying about basketball talk, James Harden. So these reports are starting to come out about James Harden being frustrated, ladies and gentlemen. I shouldn't say flustered, but a little perturbed, if you will. So the report's out that James Harden is feeling a lot is getting put on his shoulder, okay? And that was not the reason he came to Brooklyn. According to reports, is that he came there thinking, we, like me, KD, Kyrie, we're all going to do this together. Kind of how we used to do it back in OKC, except we had Russell Westbrook. And that has not been the case. So a lot of it has been falling on, offensively, a lot of it has been falling on James Harden. And I guess he's just like, I didn't sign up for this. This is not what I signed up for. Now, of course, these are the reports that's coming out there, about it. I can understand, if this is true, I can understand his frustration because it goes back to what I was saying when he was in Houston, is that it's just so much on one person. Now, in Houston, it was a little bit different. He had Chris Paul for a second, but he didn't have KD. He didn't have Kevin, Durant, on that team. He at least still does have Kevin Durant, even though he's dealing with an injury, and everything. But he at least is still have him. He at least still has Kyrie on road games. So you got something there. But this is the second season, and you have, and now that the Philadelphia stuff really ramps up instead of until next year. Try and do something now. This really ramps up that possibility of James Harden and Ben Simmons. Now, if he really wants out, and I'm Philadelphia, I go ahead, all that, 9 first-round draft picks and all that, and I'm exaggerating, but all that stuff, I need to get that deal done in the next 5 days or the next 4 days to go ahead and get him, in Philadelphia. I still don't think the Nets want to do that because they don't know, because they got, dreams and aspirations of what they're trying to do. They don't know what, situation is going on with Ben. So I just think I'm sure they probably already have talked. Got to make sure, this guy is not going to, and I don't think he's going to check out because he owes it to himself and he owes it to, to the people that's, on that team. He wouldn't check out, on them. But you got to do something about, if he's being frustrated. You got to figure out some way to take some of that, load off of James Harden if you're trying to win this year with him. Next year, he could be gone. And it's a moot point at that point. But we're talking about now. What can you do now? Guys got to step up. Other guys got to step up, on this team. And it doesn't have to be, guys reverting back to their, all-star form or, anything like that. But run some more plays for some other guys. Give him, a couple plays, where it's running for another guy. Yeah, you're making, and the reason I say this, and I know people are like, how could you say that, Jelani? How could you speak, like that? He got a job to do and everything. Look, Kyrie doing, got his thing that he's, dealing with, and the Nets are working with him on that. Why can't you, work with James Harden? At this point, if you're doing that, then you got to work with the other folks that you got. It's about this year. It's about this year. Next season, worry about next season when it happens. And that leads us into this 7-game skid that they're having. And Kyrie has said it's not time to press the panic button. So you got this skid and you got James Harden reportedly being frustrated. Is it time for the Nets to panic? I don't think so. I think you still got you got the All-Star game, that's going to be coming up. And after the All-Star game, this is where, that push happens. So, no, it's not time to press the panic button because we've seen, case in point last year with the Atlanta Hawks, where that second half, as they started, heading into the playoff, they went on this surge. They could definitely, go on the surge and make some win. We don't know what could happen, with Kyrie. And I'm not saying that he's going to do this, but he could, say, you know what, I am going to get the vaccine at this point. I proved my case, or I changed my mind or something like that. Not saying that that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that, that's a possibility. KD should, be back to form how you want him to be. I just don't think right now unless you're going to trade him, but I don't think right now is the time to panic. You just need to make the playoffs. That's it. Make the playoffs. Finish on a good note at the end of the season going into the playoffs. And Brooklyn is going to, be in there. Miami, Philadelphia, Cleveland. Cleveland's going to be young, but still Cleveland is going to be in there. You got the Bulls. You got you got a lot of teams, but you don't have any the team. You don't have the team. Milwaukee, it's a lot of teams. So, yeah, it's not time to panic. You can throw your hat in the bucket and be like, why not us, as well. So, Brooklyn, you still got time. Get to the All-Star game. Everybody take that break. And sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes you may just need a break. You need a break from each other. All-Star game goes on. Guys that didn't make the All-Star or that's not going to All-Star weekend, they go spend time with their family or whatever it is that they're going to do, for those 3 days and everything. And then they come back and refresh. And then just things are just different, at that point. So I do think they could do that and then get back to playing ball. Not saying that they're going to, just take over the world, but I do think they could get back and be a factor. Let's just say that. You listen to the Wait a Minute show with your man Jelani JB Bodie, and we are sitting here talking sports. One of the other things that's about to go on, and I was just talking about, the All-Star game. We got the All-Star reserves that was announced. So I'm going to go down the list real quick. You got on the Eastern Conference, I'm going to look at my list. Thank you, Lopan, for getting that list to me, sir. Jimmy Butler is going to be, this is 6th year. James Harden, he's on there, 10th year. Zach LaVine, second time. Chris Middleton is 3rd. Jason Tatum is 3rd. And you got 2 newbies, Darius Garland for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Fred Van Vliet for the Toronto Raptors will be making their first All-Star appearance in the reserve role. You also have for the West, Devin Booker, which is his 3rd appearance. Luka Doncic, 3rd appearance. Draymond Green, he's on there, but I don't think he's going to play because he's having a back situation. His 4th year. Rudy Gobert's 3rd. There's a lot of young guys on here. Donovan Mitchell, 3rd. Chris Paul will be his 12th. And Karl Anthony Towns will be his 3rd. So there's always, someone that's not going to make it, and we're just not going to do that this time as far as like who should be in and who got snubbed and all this, because it's never enough spots for the people that really deserve it. All the people that was under consideration pretty much deserve to it, but unfortunately we don't have that many spots. But for this game, it will be for the Eastern Conference. Out of the reserves that's on here that I'm looking at on this list, Fred Van Vliet. That's going to be the person that I want to watch the most. 1, because it's his first All-Star. 2, this is a different form. Sometimes playing in a basketball game where it's your teammates against another team, the environment is different. And it's definitely going to be different, in this one. So I just want to see if he's able to have fun, because that's the biggest thing. Have fun. Don't take it as serious in the beginning, because all they're going to be doing out there is throwing oops and pulling up from half court and, all that stuff. And I think he'll get his opportunity at some point in the game to be a factor. Because guys that's in, like Chris Paul, that's in their 12th year and all that stuff, they're going to give up a little bit more time to the young guys and also to the first timers. On the Western Conference, I've seen everybody on here, so there's not really a player that I'm really looking at to say, you know what, I want to see this guy play. So I've seen Book, I've seen Dre, Luka, Rudy, Donovan, Chris, Karl Anthony Towns. So just good fun-filled entertainment. That is what I want from the Western Conference reserve. So congratulations to everybody that made the reserves. I'm sure we're probably going to have a replacement. I think we're going to have a replacement for Draymond Green. I don't think he'll be playing in it, like I said. I think he's still dealing with an injury, if I'm correct. But I will at least be watching that. Pro Bowl, won't be watching it once again. I'll dip and dab into it, but not like I'm gonna be watching All-Star Weekend and dunk contests and 3-point contests and I think skills challenge and rising stars. You got a lot more stuff that's going on there. So, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. What else? Oh man, did we miss anything? I don't think we missed anything. I think we covered all of that, right?
Indeed.
Oh, okay. All right. Sometimes you just gotta check with your right hand man or left hand man, however way you want to say it. To keep you on point. But we're gonna stay on point. We're gonna keep talking sports. Boy, Doug Peterson. Interesting position that he took in the NFL. We're going to discuss that on the other side of the break.
Do you want your next Atlanta event to be memorable? If so, have Drinking Color at your next function. Drinking Color is sophisticated bartending that creates signature cocktails for your special occasion. Wow your family, friends, and business associates next time with Drinking Color. You can contact the owner, Kiki Lewis, at 678-813-7102. That's 678-813-7102. You can also email her at drinkincolor@gmail.com and follow on Instagram at drinkincolor. And tell her you were referred by the Wait a Minute Show. Drinking Color, cocktail catering. Let the cocktail sparkle at your next event.
Do you like making an impression? Who doesn't? Well, when you want to dress to impress for less, check out Rail Scott at Prime Ties to Go on Facebook and Instagram. Quality accessories for men and women at low prices. Everything from ties, bow ties, watches, bracelet, earrings to pocketbooks. Don't miss out. Check out Rail Scott, the owner, at Prime Ties to Go. That's Prime Ties, the number 2, Go, on Facebook and Instagram.
He's the brain of operations.
I'm telling you right now, book it.
And him, he's along for the ride.
Indeed.
But together, they bring you sports like you've never heard before. The Wait a Minute Show, a new way of discussing today's trending sports topics. And now, back to the show with your host, Jolani J.B. Bodie.
Indeed.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and what were we talking about? Doug Peterson, right, Lopan, before the break. And Doug Peterson has taken over as the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So why are we talking about Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars? I want to tell you why we're speaking about Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Because of the craziness and the mess that has transpired in the previous year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now you got a guy coming in, which I'm surprised because I really thought this was Byron Leftwich's job. To me, it just made sense that, he came in there and he worked with Brady and, they won a Super Bowl and he used to play. This is the franchise that drafted him 7th overall out of Marshall. And I just really thought that him showing up in Jacksonville the fans would just be elated and everything. Didn't work out that way. They go and get Doug Peterson. Now, Doug Peterson, obviously we know, he beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. So he got that under his belt. He went and did that in the city of Philadelphia where they were trying to get over the hump. He did, doesn't have the same, coordinators and everything that he had before. But again, he has that Super Bowl underneath his belt. So he has already told people, which I think is smart, that this is going to take some time, ladies and gentlemen. Not overnight. We're not going to fix this thing overnight. This is going to be a process. Yes, we are going to be trying to win. Yes, our aspiration is to win a championship. Yes, we are going to, do the things that we need to do to better this franchise. So I feel like he made all the right comments, unlike my hometown team, where you got Matt Patricia, who comes in after Jim Caldwell, and he's talking about he got to clean up messes and and all this stuff. No need of saying that. No need of, we already know, what it is. And Doug understands that we know what the situation is. I think this will be a better situation for Trevor Lawrence. I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence is going to, now be some top 3, quarterback. But I just felt that he needed, someone. One, Doug Peterson has played the quarterback position. He played in the league, but also he had experience in Kansas City, and he had experience in Philadelphia, getting Carson Wentz, to play, where he was playing at an MVP level that year that they won the Super Bowl. But then he had Nick Foles, So I just think, he's going to be able to teach Trevor Lawrence a lot better than, the previous regime that was there. You're not going to have, all the craziness that you had the previous year. So that in itself is just going to do wonders for a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, because you're trying to learn this position, and then you got all this other outside noise that's going on, or outside interference that's going on that you got to deal with. That's not, conducive. That's not, healthy for a quarterback drafted number 1 overall and the face of the franchise, and looked at as to have the same success or similar success that he had when he was at Clemson. So Doug Peterson, getting this job again, like, I'm surprised it's not Byron Leftwich, but they got a quarterback. I mean, they got a coach that has won a Super Bowl. They got a coach that does understand, it's a process, that understands what mistakes not, to make, just obvious stuff that's not to make. So what are you going to get with Travis Etienne? He's coming back from an injury. James Robinson to be there. You got to, do something with your wide receiver core. I don't know if Marvin Jones is going to be there. I'm thinking to say that he probably won't be. So he got a lot of work, ahead of him, but he's got it off to a good start as far as like explaining how the season, is going to be going. So last but not least, the Clippers season. So Clippers sit 8th right now. They're at 500 at 27-27. What is the status, or what is the move for the Clippers? Now, they did make a move. They traded with the Portland Trailblazers, and they acquired Norman Powell and Robert Covington. So that is going to be great additions. Powell is averaging about 18 points a game this season. That's going to add to their depth. That's going to add to, helping. Kawhi is not there. They just talked about Kawhi pretty much is not going to play this season. And Paul George is supposed to be having an MRI on the 24th, somewhere around, or sooner than later. So this is not where the Clippers, want it to be. But is it time to, make changes and go in a different direction? Because this Clipper team, even though they added those 2 guys, this is not a team that's going to be able to compete against the Golden State Warriors. It's not going to be, if they make the playoffs, they're not going to be able to compete against the Phoenix Suns or any team like that. I do think to give it one more shot with Kawhi and seeing, if he gets back to being healthy, fully healthy, to run it back and see what they can do, because you got, Powell and Covington at this point. I don't know what their contracts is. I assume that they would be back next year, and give it one more try If it doesn't work out after that, yeah, I think you gotta, you move on, because other teams have gotten better since those acquisitions have been made, by the Clippers. And so you got to figure out a different route to go. But I would give it at least one more shot, one more again. What could it hurt? At this point, you're 8th right now without them. You would think that your record would increase or would be better with those two in the lineup night in and night out. So give it one more again, LA Clipper fans and Clipper management and everybody that's involved, with the Clippers. One more. So TheWaitAMinuteShow.com. Before I get out of here, please make sure you are following the show. Make sure you're subscribing to the show. And make sure you turn on your notifications. Put any comments that you got in there, good or bad, or and if you got any requests, if you want me to talk about something, in particular, you can do that as well. Hit us up on TheWaitAMinuteShow@gmail.com. And we'll take your stuff into consideration, and we might put it in the show. I listen to Lopan sometimes, so if I can listen to Lopan, I can listen to anybody. But Lopan, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Kick the music. Did you have fun? Did you have fun, ladies and gentlemen? I know I did. I do always. Every time. I love coming on here, talking to y'all, giving my opinion. It's always fun. So, next week is Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss out on that. So, tune back in next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. WaitAMinuteShow.com. Click the YouTube button. Or if you follow me on YouTube, you're going to get the notification. We're going to be talking about my pick in the Super Bowl. I'm sure we're going to continue to talk about some NFL because something's going to pop off at the end of the season. We're going to talk about NBA. We're just going to keep talking about sports. So everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. If you're watching the Pro Bowl, hopefully it's good for you. If not, don't matter. It don't matter. Just get your TVs, get your food, get all that stuff situated, get that all out the way. Limit your list, to participants. Check the space in your area, if you got Super Bowl, preparations and everything. Be safe out there and just have fun. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. For your man, Jelani JB Bodie, host of this thing called The Wait a Minute Show. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. 2 things as always. Stay positive and push forward. And I'll holler at y'all later. Lopan, let's go.